From WDWNT, the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is ParksCenter. Hello there, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of ParksCenter. My name's Ben, and joining me on tonight's show, we have Allison.
Sivako.
Ooh, she caught it.
Ooh, getting it early.
She's got that bug.
We got Rob.
Hello.
Nathan.
Oh, Kungaloosh, everybody.
And Tyler.
Oh, hello from Canada.
There we go. Like we put you in a spot. I don't know what you're going to say anymore.
I always say the Canada bit. I just have a different hat or something.
Right, right. It's the hats.
Oh, though, the bottom right has sort of been that Sivako land. So I like the change up this week.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
All right, so kicking off tonight's show, we've got a little bit of a joint topic here. So we got our first look at the transport system for the hotel for the Star Wars Hotel in Hollywood Studios. We've got some concept art of what it looks like in show and some art of what it's going to actually be, which is a bus. And for you get to pay a lot of money for the privilege of being able to ride on this bus, along with other things. We've got some concept art, we've got some floor plan, and we've got a 2-night, 3-day stay starting at $3,300 for one person, with 5 people, which is the maximum for one room, being $7,200.
Oh,
which is
boy.
Huge.
Oh, boy.
And also, just briefly on the topic of a lot of money, if you're staying in a Grand Villa at DVC now, you have the ability to buy additional FastPass Plus reservations. The price for this, I believe, has not been announced yet, but I'm sure it's something you can afford if you're staying in a Grand Villa.
Yeah, right? So, first of all, if you really want to ride a vehicle with screens that are wrapped around it, you could just get a universal pass for like half that price for a year. But if I hate to quote myself on Twitter, but I said today that I think Bob Chapek's favorite Disney park is Disney Springs. And I think the reason for that is because you can clearly tell, like, every little thing is so, like, expensive these days. Like, and this for me is bigger than just this. Like, they're putting a Pandora. First of all, I hate that Pandora jewelry is just messy. I keep thinking there's some sort of Na'vi jewelry hanging out in Hollywood Studios. But Pandora jewelry is also coming to Hollywood Studios, and I know that's a little bit off topic, but there's just like this weird thing of like, why are there's all this high-end merch everywhere and high-end stuff, and I just don't think that was the point when this all first sort of got off the ground. I don't think we kind of, I hate to like Walt said whatever, but it was sort of for families. And I'm not saying this isn't for families. I'm not saying people can't do it, but this is like some Westworld crap. I mean, this is really, really, really expensive. And
Yes.
and I'm kind of calling it now. One, this you have to stay a certain length. That's going to go away in like a week. If Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland has any like suggestion of, like, oh, well, no one can come in or whatever. Like, that went real quick with cast members, and I think this is the same thing. I think they're going to go, oh, no, the whole story is, oh, okay, well, if you're not going to pay for that, we'll give you half the story for it. Just come, please. I'm already going to call it, people. I think this is Disney Quest 2.0. I think this is Disney Quest as a hotel. I really do. I think it's going to be an utter failure as an experience. I don't think the experience will be bad. Not saying that. And I'm not saying that the overall thing is going to be like a bad concept or the story of the Imagineers have done a bad job. What I'm saying is people will not pay for it. It will become like a pretty generalized hotel in like 5 years once it's opened. That's my prediction.
I doubt that, but we'll see.
Yeah,
This is just slightly more expensive than I expected, actually. I expected to be about this price point. This is a little higher. But the one positive thing I can think of is that this is likely not the price that people will end up paying, just as most people don't pay like sticker price when they stay in any of the deluxe resorts.
Yeah, that's
typically there's
valid.
like at least 30-something% off most times of the year because they are not filling these rooms to capacity because the sticker price is too high. And rather than lower it, they just offer these discounts.
That's a really valid point that I don't think is mentioned in the article. There's no mention in here of seasonal pricing because hotel prices usually fluctuate with like the whether it's peak season or not. And I don't know if that's the max price or the min price for this. So that may be the case that this gets a lot cheaper if you go during the off season. Moving on from there.
Hey,
Whoop.
Ben, before you go on, let me throw something in there about that, though. This is not a typical hotel, though. This is usually at a hotel.
fair.
It is the hotel. You're going to go and drop your bags, and that's where you crash at night, but you're going to spend most of your time in the park. So this is not a typical hotel situation. This is an experience that you're paying for. So I think that it really is more along the lines of a cruise than it is actually just a Disney hotel. They may go to see.
It's on a ship.
I
Yeah.
think it's going to be a limited amount of people that can go in at once. So obviously the price is going to be higher to see, if they can contain like the crowd. If you put this at $500 a night, everybody's going. You put it at $1,000, not everybody's going to go, but they may save up for it. Like if I'm a huge Star Wars fan, which I might be, I'm going to save up and maybe give it a try. I would love to see the price come down. I would love to see people like argue about it, like they did those tents that they set up in Tomorrowland, like cabanas or whatever.
Oh gosh, the Kingdom.
So I would
Yeah.
love to see people like yell about this and the price go down. That would help me. But I mean, you're not talking about All Star or this. You're talking about an exclusive experience. Sorry.
That's fair. Moving on from there, though, because we've gone way over on that. So good luck for the rest of this show. Mickey's Not So Scary now has a party pass, which is an annual pass for Not So Scary. For every night that they offer it except Halloween, because that night always sells out. Why do we need to try and increase sales for that?
Right.
So
Like,
I mean, but let me just okay. So I'll throw in about this is that I love Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. As a matter of fact, when we're talking about going down for Reflections, I definitely want to hit that. There's only one night I can do, and I'm going to do it. So I would go more than once because a lot of times you can't get in everything you want to do. So there are some people who will go and just like get their picture taken with the characters that they only bring out for Mickey's Not So Scary. That might take you all like through the whole party, especially if you're waiting in line for Jack, and then you'd have to pay again to come back another night if what you wanted to do was see the overlays or trick or treat or any of that kind of stuff. So, I mean, for me, if I was local, which I'm not, but I'm 9 hours away, I could do this. I would probably do it just for me though. Like, I don't know that everybody else has the same excitement about it I do. But at the same time, when I pay for one day, usually I have in my head, let me go and get as much candy as I possibly can while I'm here to try to make up for this ticket price, which is never going to happen, but it seems like a good idea. So it is a little bit expensive, but if you're going to go, multiple times to experience the Hocus Pocus show and then to do the overlays, if they're any good this year, that might be something you might want to come back to over and over again. So I'm actually, I think it's a neat idea that they put it out there. And I think that if people like it, they'll buy it. If not, you won't come back next year.
Yeah.
So Rob says he loves Mickey's Not So Scary. I loved past tense Mickey's Not So Scary. The last couple of years, and this also goes for the Christmas party, it's just packed to capacity and it's not fun for me anymore. This is a great deal for locals, and especially if you're just going to go in and maybe not even stay the whole party, but you can go many, many nights over the course of the many, many months that they're doing this, because by the way, they're already doing it now. It's August, so the party's happening. That's a pretty good deal for locals, but for me, I look at this and I'm like, oh, this means there are going to be even more people packed in that park. And that is what is making the party not enjoyable for me. So this is giving me anxiety to think about. I can't go this year anyway, because the baby's bedtime is way before that. And I'm not going to be that person with an infant around at like midnight.
Thank you.
But I am curious to hear what this does to the crowd levels, which to me were already unenjoyably high.
Yeah.
See, for AP, this feels like, Epcot after 4, that really cheap AP.
Oh, right.
It sort of feels like
Oh,
Magic
yeah.
Kingdom in the fall after 6 or whatever. Like, it's this weird sort of like, oh, well, we'll still let you in if you want to come in. I've been calling this the Disney Photographer's Pass because they always want to go multiple times and get photos. I think it's good for those kind of people. That's fine,
Yeah.
but I completely agree with you, Allison. I think that this is... Disney's desperately trying to find niche things that will work for a very small amount of people, and they'll pay just a little bit more, but not too many people. So we'll see. If this is too much, it's not good for them either, I don't think. So it's a risk.
That's fair.
But interesting.
Moving on from there to a surprise double shot. I was not planning on this taking nearly as long as it ended up taking, or as we ended up allocating for this, I'll say. We originally only had the Big Thunder Mountain and Jungle Cruise refurbs in this topic, but earlier today we received news that there's also going to be a refurb of Carousel of Progress coming here. I'm nervous.
Finally, like,
I mean, that's fair.
so outdated. It's the most outdated thing in the end of that. It's just seeing. I mean, it's like the future, and it's like, okay, well, we already have that, and the design of the house is painful to look at, and like, I don't know how much money it costs to fix an animatronic or upgrade one, or the logistics that go behind taking one out and putting a new one in, but like with attractions like Tiki Room or Country Bears, you hear the clicking, and I just want to go up there and just pull it out and put a new one in myself.
Tin can, like Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. Or characters like just winking like out of sequence, and I'm glad it's getting done. I just can't see that it's going to be like after 2023 or whatever the crazy timeline that it is for it, where it's going to be like after the 50th.
Yeah,
that's just bizarre.
Jungle Cruise is interesting. I love that The Rock came out and was like, definitely going to do something with the Jungle Cruise, and Disney's like, no. And we're like, yeah, we can, like, we're not stupid. Like, there's a new ride coming out. They'll determine if the ride is if the movie's super successful, that's when they'll make their move. But I hope that I think the movie, it looks in tone. So it's in the 30s. So I'm fine if they want to sort of adjust Jungle Cruise. I don't think they're going to get rid of like the things we love the most about Jungle Cruise. I'm not super worried about that. Carousel, I'm always worried about Carousel because it's you're right. It's one of those that can either come or go, and it desperately needs some changes. And what's funny, I thought they should have teased that one with just like a tweet. That note at the end that's on the wall that just says Marty called, needs changes, and I kind of wish that would have just been the teaser that they were going to do this. But I don't know. It's nice that all of these Big Thunder basically just feels like we're finally getting what we deserve here at the Magic Kingdom. So I'm just happy with that. So all positive so far.
I've said it before and I will say it again. I am all for more of The Rock. In movies and also
I thought you were gonna say, who cares?
Rides. I'm fine. Please. I love him. He's wonderful. So yeah, please bring him. Maybe we could have some The Rock look-alike skippers. I would really enjoy that. But that's probably not going to happen. But I'd love to see him on the Jungle Cruise. Yeah. I am more excited, of course, about the very overdue Carousel refurb. I am looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, my first trip to Disney, I was 4 years old. In 1989, and I still have memories of things from that trip. And so my hope is my daughter will be 4.5 years old when the refurb takes place, that I hope she can remember a little bit of the final scene at some point in her life, and then she will also get to see the new scene. So it only took a generation, because I was very young when this was last changed in any way. But it's kind of cool that like now she's going to get to see what I grew up with, and then she'll get the updated version. But it's cringeworthy, but also I love it so much being in there. And it's not just about the things that we have, but the things that we have technologically moved way beyond. And of course, design-wise, Formica kitchens, it's like I get all the nostalgia because that's everyone's mom's kitchen when I was growing up. So maybe we could keep that scene and we'll just have an additional scene. That would make me happy.
Just to make the whole show 90s.
Yeah, I'm not sure they're going to be able to pull that off. You know what? To me, it breaks out a little bit differently because, like Big Thunder Mountain, I agree with you, Nathan. Like this feels like something we've been owed for a while. That I mean, when I ride the one in Disneyland and see that that final scene with the projections, I'm just like, why? When they took it down for so long, did they not put this in Florida? I was ready for it. I thought it was going to happen, and they didn't. So it's nice that they're putting it in. But to me, that one's not like a classic attraction, like kind of like we've talked about the Country Bears and other things and saying do not touch and be careful and all that, don't change it too much. So I feel like anything they can plus out on Big Thunder, I'm all for. For the Jungle Cruise, interesting to see though, like Jungle Cruise and Carousel to me are kind of those, you go and you ride them because they are the classics. And even if they make the click and all that stuff, they are the ones that Walt had his hands on. Not specifically the Jungle Cruise we have today, but and both of them aren't in their original form, but they are classics. And so to me, I'm a little bit more scared about what they're going to do. I agree that that state of the art VR technology that they've showcased in the last one isn't quite up to snuff with where we are today, and voice recognition may be a little past where we are, but again, just the classic of that ride worries me a little bit that what the show, what are they going to do to it that's going to change it? And I love the way it is now with the holidays, each scene being a different holiday. I don't know if they're going to keep that in story or not. That would be kind of cool, I think, to keep. But there are a lot of classic lines from that, and like to move those lines out is going to be a little bit hard for me to handle. I'll love to see some upgrade and some love given to that attraction, but at the same time, I know that show cold, and I'll
and Rob, to finish,
to
finish up. Yeah, and if I just wanted to say it quickly, Ben, before we ran out of time, but now we have. The thing about Carousel that people are going to forget too is you can't just update that last one. Gene Shepard, who did the voice, who was in Christmas Story, did the narration. He's passed, and so like we're looking at a full-on new Carousel. It's not just that last scene. Like it has to be completely redone. At the very least, the audio does.
Yeah, I was just saying that's just one character's audio, but
if they can find a Rod Serling voice match, they can find one for Gene Shepard. Don't mess with the rest of
Possibly. I don't know if they would. I think that I don't know if it's that sacred to them, though. I think is the key. Those long rumored Tom Hanks rumors also.
Oh gosh, that would actually. I don't know how I feel.
I'm fine with
I don't. That's just a.
Like Welcome to Carousel. I'm Tom Hanks. Or
No, he didn't. No. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
All right.
So if you haven't seen Carousel, make sure to see it before then.
So moving over to a different topic entirely, I guess. No, we can transition this. We're going from one thing from the beginning of time at Magic Kingdom to another, getting refurbed and reworked.
Transitioned. Yeah.
Sure.
A transition about transition.
Yeah, there it is. So there is evidence that there is an incredible refurb coming to
evidence
at least
seems
part.
A little nice. It's more than evidence. It's basically the crime scene.
I mean, we got a portrait on the wall. We got some carpet, and we got. If you come back a few days later, the picture's gone, but the room's gutted. Like you can even say hi to some of the people working in there. Hi, folks. Sorry, you're so horribly backlit. We'd be able to say hi to you a little better. So this looks like they're at a minimum reworking this room. I guess it's theoretically possible that Disney backtracked on this, but the more likely outcome we believe at this point is that they just took the art off the wall to make sure no one would damage it. But what's coming here, and is it any good?
They probably think that we're gonna be leaking stuff. Like, oh no, they know it's Incredibles. Quick, take the poster down. That'll stop them. I think I voiced my concerns about Pixar being closer to the Magic Kingdom and how it probably shouldn't. I mean, they're almost the same thing because they're animation, but they're like miles apart in terms of like the story and heart and how you can bring those things into like a hotel room. I'm not saying art of animation, like half of it's perfect and half of it's not or anything, but like there's very few stories that I think could go well in a hotel, and I'm not sure why they want to bring Incredibles except the one reason, which say it with me, because money.
Steakhouse.
Money. Yeah.
Steakhouse.
Steakhouse is money. Same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, contemporary, and then there's that like weird old retro contemporary feel to Incredibles.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a room theme. At the end of the day, if I were to stay there, I'd go and fall asleep and not even think twice. Except with like,
I think it's the lobby though that's most people are most concerned with. All I care about is the Mary Blair mural. That's it. Like, just don't mess with the Mary Blair. That's all I care about. I honestly have no issue with any of this except for like weaving in the Incredibles logo in the carpet. Don't be that permanent. You want to be able to get rid of your IPs, take down the posters, and be able to do what you want to do. It's not worth that amount of detail. So
it's
I say
kind of
mid-century
subtle, though.
retro. I don't know, modern mid-century. That's all you want. I think it can. I think the contemporary is kind of ugly these days. So
Yes.
in a mess. So design-wise, so it's fine, but don't have to rip up carpet when no one likes Incredibles 3 or 8 or whatever and down the line. Like, don't do that to yourself. Like these people would have given us like a Black Cauldron suite. Like, way
boy.
before we would have known. So that's all. Concerns on that end, but modern mid-century is great. I have no issue with that.
Well, speaking of things that didn't make a profit, transitioning from Black Cauldron,
Allegedly. Disney lawyers.
This is 100% rumor at this point. Nothing has been confirmed. We have had exactly one person say one thing.
Yeah, it's not rumor that the person has said it. It's
right, but
what they're saying we cannot prove.
It is unconfirmed at this point that the Disney Parks and Resorts division has been overstating their revenue for, quote, many years at this point. But like we just said a bunch, this is very much a rumor. This is one guy said one thing without much evidence to back it up. It could be the beginning of finding out some massive scandal, or it could be somebody tooting a whistle real loud because their boss was mean to them. It could be anything at this point, and I believe Allison. I think there's been a little bit of research into this claim at this point. Like, did you see that?
Yeah, it seems that so far the claims have been unfounded. I'm sure there's more to research, but I think that the allegations at all it's the kind of thing that shakes confidence in a brand, whether it's true or it's not.
Yeah.
And it's the kind of thing that colors a reputation of a company, and Disney is a company that has been built on its reputation. And people wanting to go and visit the happiest place on earth or the most magical place on earth or whichever park you're going to. A lot of that has to do with the feeling of nostalgia and the clean image of the brand, and this really shakes it. It's, even if true, it's not on the same level as something like what Volkswagen went through, for example, because we're not talking about physically harming people or the environment. It's more just falsely inflating profits, which is also deeply concerning. But it seems that it's likely not true. But the way things spread like wildfire, and my initial instinct was, well, this is a really weird thing to make up, because it's kind of easily verifiable. Yeah. So I kind of thought there must be something to it, but so far it seems like that's not the case.
Yeah, I honestly think there's a little bit of something to it, but it might be like drastically overstated. If you take a look deeper in this article, you see some mildly disconcerting history involving this individual. Which, from one perspective, might imply that they might have a I guess, a grudge against the company, but on the other hand, may just be the company trying to make it look like they had a grudge against the company to try and cover up for themselves. So there's like I hate saying like there's no way to really tell one way or the other at this point, but it's so up in the air with all of this.
The timing of her firing is interesting because it's exactly a month after she made the initial complaint, and that's what made me kind of think, oh, there's got to be something to this.
Yeah, it seems
That,
a
and
little
also you have
suspicious,
to be
doesn't it?
really crazy to go up against the Disney company. To be
Yeah,
like,
that's fair.
oh, I'm going to publicly out you. If you were just making baseless claims, I would not want to be that person to fight all the Disney lawyers.
Yeah.
So she's either got a lot to say that's true, or she's really cray.
We will definitely keep you all updated on the truth or cray-ness of this story going forward.
Speaking of cray,
Speaking of cray, I don't know where you're going with this. Cray good, I guess. So
Your trip was cray.
oh, my trip was cray. All right, so real quick, the core story here. Savvy's workshop in Galaxy's Edge in Hollywood Studios is actually noticeably better than the one in Disneyland, with the core reason for this being that they have actual entertainment cast members playing the lead role in this experience, as opposed to in California they don't. They just have regular cast doing that. What did I miss?
No, I just said who'd
it was just like
Oh yeah, who'd have thunk? Yeah, putting good casting, good role. Yeah.
That's crazy. Actors in an acting.
Streetmosphere
Wow.
in
can you
Hollywood
imagine
Studios.
Streetmosphere was like not entertainment people? I mean, like,
Oh my gosh.
Ben, do we know it's going to be a long-term thing though, or just like a short-term thing while we're still in like previews, and afterwards it goes back to the regular cast?
I have no idea at this point. Why is my camera not working?
Really going through
I don't know,
everybody.
but this is amazing.
Sorry about that. I have no idea. I'm hoping that this is permanent. Like, this doesn't seem like the kind of thing that would be temporary.
Well, to me, it looks like the kind of thing you do when you're like you're wooing the crowd at the very beginning. So that's why I'm wondering. That said, I may have talked about the fact that I did the one at Disneyland, and I thought the cast member did a great job, and we've heard stories that all the cast members who were involved with the two, whether they're East Coast or West Coast, went through a kind of an improv training so that they could be villagers and talk about the lore and bright suns, and I think they did a great job overall. But my experience with Savis I thought was great, and I think the only other thing that I see that's different is like when I got there at Savi's, I didn't really know exactly what I was supposed to do, even though I had seen, a little bit of what had been like what Tom had done and what was posted on the blog. I try not to see too much, but it's, I'm like, hey, when do I need to show up? And the idea that they're handing this card out looks like, hey, we figured out we need to be more specific about timing and when people come back, and then that you've got the menu that you can look at of what all the pieces are. It's a little bit better than what they had before. They had 4 cards that were sitting out at Disneyland on the counter, and you could look at them, or you could pull open the drawers and look at them. So I think this menu and also the card look like, to me, things that they went, hey, we've learned this from the West Coast, and now we're going to add it here. But
yeah,
I mean, I love the idea that they would, keep the cast member, the actors in there. But I thought the one we had was great. So I don't know what I missed versus what you got to experience when you saw it.
Yeah, because I did get to do the thing, and
did you have Mark Daniel or Ben?
No, I
Daniel?
did not. I don't remember the name, either character name or actor name of the individual I had. If anybody else goes, if I say the Brit, you probably will know whether or not it's the. Like,
oh, Ben, I'm sorry. You were at Diagon Alley. You got really confused.
Yeah, I got really lost.
That's where the Brits are.
No, but seriously, like, you say that, and it seemed very much like the actor who played Draco Malfoy. If he was playing a nicer character, like it felt like, it felt like his character from The Flash. But it was such a great experience. I loved it. I'm looking forward to ranting about that more at a later date and time. But unfortunately. that is going to do it for this week. Unfortunately, we do not have a post show this week. We normally do. For our Wigs members, we normally have a show after the show where we talk about all sorts of stuff, including things you folks suggest. If you're interested in being able to see that show, which we do normally have, you can head over to patreon.com/WDWNT, and for as little as $2 a month, you can subscribe to be one of our Wigs members over there. Get access to our post shows, the post shows for News Tonight, and a whole bunch of other good content, so I highly recommend you check that out if you haven't already. Also, this show is brought to you by Never Grow Up Vacations, the official travel sponsor of WDWNT. These fine folks will help you get to Galaxy's Edge and back for far less than you might expect. They're an authorized Disney vacation planner whose focus is in making magic for their clients, and with over 20 years of experience doing this, we're sure they can help you make your next trip even more magical. So head on over to wdwnt.travel today to book your next trip. Thank you, folks, for coming. Tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, we have WDWNT, the RPG, coming up with our own Tyler Mann as Dungeon Master. And also beautiful image creator. I swear that looks terrific. So if you folks are interested in that, it's a Tyler. How would you describe the RPG? Just kind of like if you've heard of D&D, you kind of know what's up. But
yeah, something like that. It's a custom built role playing game, and just magical things happening throughout the Disney parks, mysteries to discover, and secrets. And did you know that there's a maze under the Tiki Room? And did you know that maybe the Tiki Room might collapse if the gods aren't appeased by offerings made within that maze? So it's just a fun time. Stop by, see what people do to try and mess me up as the Dungeon Master. So it's a great time.
I've seen a few of these, and I've ran the pilots. This is a ton of fun to play and to watch. So definitely check that out if you can. Thank you, folks, for watching. If you're one quick shout out before I forget, I wanted to give a shout out to Stephanie and John Dean, along with everybody else who said hi to me when I was in Galaxy's Edge on Monday. Big thank you. If you see any of us in the parks, feel free to come up and say hi. We don't bite. It's fun.
Yeah.
And a big thank you to Rob Whiteside for making this this beautiful cover image.
You should have used it, man.
They would have killed me. But thank you, folks, for watching. If you're watching live, congrats. If you are not, then you can be watching at youtube.com/WDWNT. You can subscribe over there, hit the bell to get notifications, and find out every time we go live, or head over to the WDWN Tunes and watch us over there. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh my.
Bless you.